One of the first to step forward was a big, bearish Methodist minister named John Chivington. He was 6.5 feet tall, weighed 250 pounds, and sometimes delivered sermons with a revolver resting on the pulpit. Chivington, one acquaintance in Denver said, is a crazy preacher who thinks he is Napoleon Bonaparte. Offered a chaplain's commission, Chivington refused. He wanted to fight for the Union, he said, not just pray for it. Meanwhile, in January of 1862, a confident rebel army of 3,500 soldiers had marched west out of Texas into New Mexico, where it defeated Union forces at Valverde, seized Albuquerque, plundered Santa Fe, and moved north toward Colorado. Their plan was to capture Denver and the Rocky Mountain gold fields, then sweep all the way west to take California and its mother lode of mineral wealth. Their motto was on to San Francisco. But they hadn't counted on Chivington.
Here's this army of Texans thinking they can live off the land. Then they move through New Mexico territory, winning their battles, and they get up there to northern New Mexico, and they have no idea that there's another army coming at them.
Chivington was now a major with the 1st Colorado Volunteers, hard-drinking miners, eager for a fight. They had marched 40 miles a day through ice and snow and freezing winds to stop the Texans. They met in a place called Apache Canyon. Chivington sent some of his men scurrying up the canyon sides. They were up on the walls on both sides of us, one Confederate remembered, shooting us down like sheep. Then Chivington himself led the charge.
Major Chivington, with a pistol in each hand, chawed his lips with only less energy than he gave his orders. Of commanding presence, dressed in full regimentals, he was a conspicuous mark for the Texan sharpshooters. But as if possessed of a charmed life, he galloped unhurt through the storm of bullets. Ovando J. Hollister.
The rebels fell back. The two armies met 2 days later at Glorieta Pass, and for 5 bloody hours they slammed away at each other amidst the boulders. But while the battle raged on, Chivington and some of his men slipped 16 miles behind the Confederate lines to a cliff that overlooked the Texans' supply wagons. There, they lowered themselves by ropes, drove off the guards, burned 85 wagons filled with provisions, and bayoneted 500 horses and mules. The Confederates, who had seemed so close to victory, now faced starvation and thirst, as well as a hostile enemy.
And they had to turn around and retreat, get out of there, and they panicked. There they were, hundreds of miles from their base in San Antonio in Texas. Nothing but deserts and mountains between them and their homes.
Columns got lost. Boots wore out. Men had to stagger through searing sand in bare feet. Soldiers abandoned their weapons, collapsed from exhaustion, dehydration, sunstroke. 3,500 men had marched out of Texas to conquer the Southwest. 1,500 of them never returned. The dream of a Confederate West was dead. Glorieta Pass would become known as the Gettysburg of the West, and John Chivington, the fighting parson, was a Union hero.
Baldwin City, Kansas, October 8, 1862. Our camp meeting in this place was a glorious success. Reverend Chivington, who with his command has accomplished such wonders of late in New Mexico, was present and preached from the stand in his regimentals. His persuasive eloquence and clear, ringing stentorian voice swayed the multitude like a western tornado as it bends its massive oaks. The work of God is still going on. Julia Louisa Lovejoy.